Good evening. Given that many in the media and Democrats in general are anticipating a Biden administration, we thought we would start a special feature, News You Can Use, and we will unravel the Biden economic plan and introduce you to key members of the Biden administration, as many are anticipating a Biden administration. And at this point, I should tell you, I'm just kidding with you. I'm not going to do that stuff because it's not over, not by a long shot. All right, folks? Yes. Quit now? Hell no. You know, I keep hearing this from people in my life, friends, some family, and even people in the news business who say, oh, it really seems like Joe is going to pull this out. Maybe you should start, planning accordingly. You know what I told them? I'm a Marine. And I remember the Marines who came before me, the ones on Iwo Jima. They were fighting the Japanese. Okay, now could you imagine if those Marines started talking to themselves? This island is awfully close to Japan, and, they were here first, and, maybe we should just, learn Japanese culture and, Japanese cuisine and, just in case we don't pull this one off. If they did that, they would have lost, okay? You know what I'm getting at here? Can't think like that right now because despite the media blackout, there is evidence and it is accumulating. The media, the fact that they're not telling you about what happened today is evidence in and of itself that they know there's evidence that could undo this thing. The president was on fire tonight. He did a special speech released on social media. The networks didn't carry it. Scant mention of it right now on the internet. But for 45 minutes, he made the case that this thing was stolen. He was very effective. And he made the case that more than fighting for himself, he's fighting for the country right now.
This election is about great voter fraud, fraud that has never been seen like this before. It's about poll watchers who were not allowed to watch. So illegal. It's about ballots that poured in, and nobody but a few knew where they came from, but they were counted, and they weren't for me.
Much more. Continue.
These irregularities are inexplicable unless there is a deliberate effort to accept ineligible ballots or fraudulent ballots.
It goes on.
What I'm saying now will be demeaned and disparaged, but that's okay. I just keep on going forward because I'm representing 74 million people, and in fact, I'm also representing all of the people that didn't vote for me.
He went on for 45 minutes, and all of it was fascinating. We don't have enough time to show you the entire speech. You can find it on Facebook. And he makes the case, and he got into some real details about Pennsylvania, about Michigan, about Detroit, stories that he's heard, testimony that has been made. It's all there. And if you weren't convinced before, you might be convinced after you hear the president speak. Right now, he doesn't have too many powerful people sticking up for him. He's got lawyers, he's got the people, but he doesn't have too many powerful allies. He has some, but not many. They miscalculated all over again because the president is at his best when everything and everyone is against him. Not everyone, we're with him, but you know what I mean. All right, now just before those comments were released to the public, Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell, the lawyer, the great lawyers, was kind of a press conference and kind of a rally and kind of a revival. It was amazing. These folks are feeling a lot of hope for the president.
The only thing that really distinguishes us from other countries is our love of freedom and the application of the rule of law. It hasn't been applied fairly or equally in probably 2 decades. We must demand that change right now. Everybody feels like they're not being listened to, and that's just not right. This is your state and your country, and they need to remember they work for you.
They made the mistake of thinking that we were still the party of Mitt Romney, the party of John McCain, the party that didn't know how to fight. But what they don't realize now is that we are the party of Donald J. Trump.
All the power, not some of the power, all of the power belongs to the people. This is our country. We're going to take it back. We're circling the walls of Jericho. People are praying in this country. We're circling the walls of Jericho, and God Almighty's going to tear the walls down, and we're going to take America back again. You watch it happen. And he said to me, with the conviction of the President of the United States of America, I will never concede. Don't you ever concede, Mr. President. You won this election. America voted for you. Stay in the White House. This is our country. Don't let anybody take it away from us. It's 1776. This is our battle. This is our fight. This is for our freedom.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And remember, when the media don't cover the evidence or say there is no evidence, they're wrong. There is evidence. And we'll actually have some of the folks who testified in Michigan a little later in the show. All right, so a lot happened today. These are big people making big, powerful statements. So let's review how the media covered all this. Drudge Report used to be my go-to, huh? Dark weeks, morgues and hospitals overflow. Okay, there's Drudge. New York Post, they have at times been friendly to the president. Big old story about no one's favorite mayor. Absolutely no mention of anything else. Okay, what about let's get to the big leagues here. Wall Street Journal, what do they got on their front page at this point? Joe Biden doing his thing, NASDAQ. No, nothing about a sitting president not conceding, vowing to fight on. Lawyers with evidence, New York Times. Okay, this will be no mystery to anybody. CDC problems. What's Joe Biden going to do now? You get the picture here, okay? All right? Ignored, totally ignored. And this stuff is not ignorable. They can pretend it's not happening, but it is. But it is. All right, folks, what else do we have here? There are some crybabies out there. There are some crybabies out there, Republicans and Democrats alike. I'd like to show you a new poster that we got made up for Brad Parscale and a guy in Georgia by the name of Sterling. These guys, drama queens a little bit. Now, Brad, I like him a lot. Smart guy, but he's all broken up because he's off the campaign and he's had some personal issues. And this other one, Sterling, he works for, I think, the lieutenant governor down there, and he just made a big fuss because, well, there have been some nasty comments on the internet, and he deliberately overreacted to a sarcastic comment made on cable news.
I'm going to do my best to keep it together because it has all gone too far. All of it. Joe DeGenova today asked for Chris Krebs, a patriot who ran CISA, to be shot.
I know Joe DeGenova. Had him on the show last night. I've had dinner with Joe DeGenova and his wife. He didn't mean it. I have said that a million times. I want to kill that guy, all right? You're going to condemn me? It's a figure of speech, and these guys are exploiting it big time. If you want to know what it's like to get heat on the street, try wearing a Make America Great Again hat in New York City. Probably won't make it home. All right, next, Brad Parscale. I like him. Smart guy. He got fired, relieved of his duties by the Trump campaign because he just wasn't cutting it.
Have you talked to the president lately?
I've not. And it's pretty hurtful, but it's probably just as much my fault as his. I love that family, and I gave every inch of my life to him.
Brad made a lot of money managing political affairs for the president. Here's the thing, though. I mean, the media are portraying this almost as a betrayal of Brad. If you are a campaign manager, you get fired. That's what happens. It's just part of being a campaign manager. Let's go through history, shall we? Ronald Reagan fired his campaign manager, I think the same day he won the New Hampshire primary. He just sat down a guy named John Sears and said, well, I'm afraid it's not working out, John. And he was gone. And he went on to win the presidency. Let's see, who's next? Bill Clinton did it all the time. I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to talk to you. You know, we'll have to keep this relationship going over the phone, though. You know what I mean? I just can't be seen right now and do that. Let's see who else did. Oh, Donald Trump did it actually in 2016. Corey, you are a great guy, but get lost, okay? It happens. Hillary Clinton, when she ran, she got rid of multiple staffers and she said, get the hell out of here. She wasn't screwing around. This is politics, everybody. It's tough, and Donald Trump did not invent this game. All right, this is a little bit personal, but I think you might be able to relate. You're a Trump supporter. I'm a Trump supporter. Not all of our friends dig Trump, and they dig us less because we dig Trump. Have you been feeling the heat from your friends? Are some of them threatening to not talk to you or wondering why you are a crazy person? I've gotten that a lot lately. And one very interesting exchange from some people I love and adore. I hope they're friends for the rest of my life. But they told me about how their son has been following me on Twitter, and they've called my Twitter feed pure evil. Pure evil. So it really made me think, and I stopped and wrote a little text message back. Again, I wrote it with love. First of all, they offered me $20,000 a month to stop. This is a kid, by the way, the son we're talking about. He's 21. I don't know how they came up with that figure, but this is what I wrote back. I am supporting those filing lawsuits in court. I have a hunch that your son supported the Black Lives Matter movement and their protests, a socialist organization that supports dismantling the nuclear family. People rioted in their name and were praised almost universally. There's nothing that's happening now that undermines democracy on our side. Article 2 and the 12th Amendment allow for all of this, including contesting the matter within the Electoral College. Joe DeGeneva, we talked about him personally. They mentioned him. I know Joe DeGeneva personally. I've had dinner with him and his wife. He was not threatening anyone. If we condemn him, let's condemn anyone who's ever said, I want to kill somebody. Figure of speech that I've uttered a million times. I'd ask your son if he noticed there wasn't rioting when it was reported that Joe Biden was the apparent winner. Seems like a lot of people were anticipating violence, plywood over businesses, etc. But it did not happen. If the results were different, does he think the left would have refrained from violence and rioting? Would rioting after a Trump victory have been anti-democratic? Would that have been pure evil? Rhetorical question, of course, not asking him to answer. By the way, Crown Season 4 is pretty boring. And I want to go back to that point about the red hat, make America great again. If you really think our side is evil, what would happen if you wore that hat in the heart of New York City? I live and work in the heart of New York City. If I wore that hat home, walking about 3 miles or so, I wouldn't make it home. I would not make it home. And they say our side is evil. All right. If my friends are watching, I do want to remind them that I love you guys and you're the best people. And we may disagree politically. That's fine. That's totally fine. At least for me. I hope it is for you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.